Yeah, and to take the whole of human race behind you.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
to make the dream alive again.
Mario, we were the tip of the arrow. We were the ones that got our picture in the newspaper. We were on the evening news, this kind of thing. But the real strength in the bow are the people who got us there. I look back at Apollo, and the legacy of Apollo is not the technology or walk into our hospitals. We take for granted so many things we have today. What is the human endeavor of the people who made it possible. When John F. Kennedy said we're going to go to the moon, we had 16 minutes of space flight experience. We didn't know how to go to the moon. Mm-hmm. Technology didn't exist. He was asking and challenging American people to do what most thought couldn't be done. He was asking us to do the impossible. Yet we did it. That's what should be remembered.
Why such a rupture? Money? Politics?
Oh, you mean after it was over?
After it was over.
Oh, you know, I've been asked, why did we quit? Why don't we go on? Why did we stop? And I'm not sure I can answer those questions. I think not just the United States. I think you talk about economics. I can think you could talk about politics, a lot of things. We went there primarily because the competition with the Soviets at that point in time. It was national pride, a lot of things involved. But I think the world, not just the United States, but I think the world began to look in upon itself to try and solve our own ills. International hunger, poverty, AIDS, all these other things, and forgot about investing in the future of mankind. You know, and particularly in America, we want instant gratification. We landed on the moon, and there used to be a phrase that was quoted, "We're now Columbus." You know, now that we've discovered America, what are we going to do? Now that we've been to the moon, where do we go from here? And I think we got caught up in that syndrome for far too many years. I'm the last man to have left my footprints on the moon. Do you realize it's going to be almost 40 years?
Yes.
2012. And people can't believe we haven't been back.
Word from Washington is that within the next decade, there will be another attempt to step on the moon again.
It may not be within the next decade, but I am absolutely confident. It's our destiny. Essence, or curiosity, is the essence of human existence, discovery. We as human beings have to go back to that next frontier. Who are we? Where are we? Where do we come? Is there life out there? Was there life on Mars? I don't have the answers to those questions. Nobody else does either. But we have an insatiable desire to seek the knowledge and find out. And the thing about that is, when we go back and when we go on to Mars, we're going to come back with a whole new set of questions that we haven't even thought about.
Or we might just shut the door on human evolution and say, we're here to stay on this planet, and that's it.
Well, are we a product from life on Mars? Are we here because millions of years ago there was life on Mars?
I don't know.
They decided to leave Mars and come to this beautiful blue planet?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so, but
the thesis of fossils in meteorites is still going on and not totally decoded.
I love to let my mind wander into the future.
Did you think about that when you had a moment's pause when Houston said, all right, Gene, have a rest now there?
Have a what?
A rest now.
Well, you know,
aboard the Falcon.
We
22 hours. Did you sleep at all there?
Well, we were 22 hours on we were 22 hours outside the spacecraft.
Yeah.
We were on the moon 75 hours.
Altogether, 75.
Yeah. Because we had to, that was 22 hours was outside.
That's 3 days.
You know, they tell me the two things you and I need to survive are water and sleep. And we didn't sleep. We rested. We put shades over the windows because we were there, you know, 14 days of daylight. So we had to pull the shade. And I remember laying small little confined place in a little hammock. This is the biggest waste of time in my entire life. I'm on the moon.
I should be out jumping.
I should be out doing something. And I have to rest. Now, we didn't sleep well, but we did rest. And you know, 22 hours outside the spacecraft, and we were there 75 hours. Look what we could have done with the balance of that time.
Yeah.
incredible. But we had to take that rest period, and yes, but that does give your mind, you're so busy outside, that does give your mind a chance to think and try and appreciate where you are at that moment in space and time and history. And I remember the last steps, which are far more nostalgic to me than the first steps I'd been taking. The first steps, when I first stepped on the moon, it was my first step, but the first steps had already been taken by not just Neil Armstrong and everybody who preceded me, but the last steps, when I crawled up the ladders and I looked down and there's my final footsteps. I'm not coming back this way. It's not like going on a summer vacation and you're going to go again next year. Someone will, but I'm not coming back this way. And I looked at those footsteps and I looked at the earth that's been hovering over my head for 3 days, and I wanted to push that button. You were in a simulator at NASA. Stop. Let's stop time. Yeah. Let me think about it. What did the last 3 days of my life, what did those 3 days on the moon mean, not just to me, but meant to us?
That's an odyssey. That's a lifetime for everybody that shared it.
A generation ago, mankind left this cradle we were born in and divorced ourselves in every humanly way possible except being able to see it, and lived somewhere else, in a science fiction, in Star Trek world out there. What did that all mean? I'm not sure we yet know. But I tried to sum it up when I came home. You know, I do believe that there is a creator. I do believe that there is a God who stands above all religion. I kept thinking...
So did that great explorer before you, Galileo Galilei.
There
he wondered about the watchmaker that kept it all...
We built on those dreams. And I was one of the product of his dreams. Not just his science, but his dreams. For 3 days of my life, I sat on God's front porch looking back home, at least at a small part of the universe that he created. Now, what does that mean?
Tell me about fear.
The fear.
Fear.
Hardest question in the world to answer. How do you feel? Of course, you're exhilarated.
Did you have fear as such?
No, I will say, not on the surface of the moon, but there's so many things that happen right, going and coming, that apprehension does play a role. I mean, that's why your heart beats fast on liftoff. You know, that's not an ordinary, everyday thing you do. No matter how much you train, there's only one time you do it.
And you did it 3 times.
Yeah, well, I did it 3 times, but you know, each time's the first time. But you don't have fear. If you were afraid, you shouldn't go. I didn't go not to come back. I was coming back. In all fairness to our families, our wives weren't sure we were coming back. We knew. I could tell my wife I was coming back. She was asked one day, how do you feel when Gene goes to the moon? She gave a great answer. She said, if you think going to the moon is hard, you ought to try staying home.
Great answer. Great answer. Gene, thank you so much for keeping the dream alive for all of us. And it's been a tremendous honor to
Well, you know,
meet
that's the important thing, keeping the dream alive for our kids and grandkids, reinstilling that inspiring them to dream of doing things that they didn't think were possible. I'm a testimonial that nothing is impossible. I walked on the moon before half the people in the world were even born. Think about that. 30 and 40-year-olds in this world were not born when I walked on the moon. What can't their kids do if we give them the opportunity to do it?
Thank you. It's a great moment to be.
God bless. It's great to be here in Portugal. I love the country. Hospitality to the people is unmatched anywhere in the world.
Thank you for visiting us.
Thank you.